Good afternoon. I will call to order our regularly scheduled Intergovernmental Relations Committee for today, May 1st. Happy May Day, everyone. And my name is Elizabeth Glidden. I'm the chair of this committee. I'm joined today by Councilmember Andrew Johnson, Councilmember Fry, and Councilmember Quincy, and we are a quorum of the committee and able to do business. We have two items on the agenda for today. The first is a consent item, and it is to approve an appointment of Lauren Olson as the city's alternate representative to the Noise Oversight Committee for a term of July 16th, 2014 to June 26, 2015, and direct staff to notify the Metropolitan Airports Commission of that appointment. So I will move approval of that item. Discussion? Seeing none, all in approval, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, and that item is approved. Good luck, Lauren. Next, we have a discussion item, which is a federal, state, and local update with Mr. Ranieri. Mr. Ranieri.
Thank you very much. My name is Gene Ranieri. I'm the Director of Government Relations for the city. I'll try to give you a quick update of what's happening at the legislature and also some federal issues, too, that we may want to consider in future meetings. Right now, the legislature is in the last 2 weeks. They're supposed to be completed by, I think, May 19th. Unfortunately, there has been no so-called universal or global agreement in terms of spending where the funds would go. So as a result of that absence, major bills have not been moving. There have been conference committees, but the discussions have basically been on policy issues and not money. The bonding bill in the House has not yet been brought up to the floor, nor has it been brought before that to Ways and Means. In the Senate, the bonding bill has not yet been introduced. Those will probably occur once the budgets have been set, and hopefully the leaderships will have those numbers set. Senator Cohen thought he would have it within 72 hours, which would mean at noon today, but they're not there yet. So hopefully within the next week, there would be hopefully budgets, and we would see what would be in the bonding bill, particularly the bonding bill in the Senate. As we're aware that there seems to be an agreement that $850 million would be, would be the amount of money, or the maximum amount of money spent on general obligation bonds. And then with some of the local matches and the match from the state university, it would mean that the bonding bill in a traditional sense would be about $912 to $920 million. However, at the same time, both the House and the Senate are proposing to spend some money in cash. And the cash would be used for projects around the state, projects that didn't make it into the bonding bill but were considered to be worthy projects. This House has $122 million in projects, and $125 million in projects, and some of those projects that do include our storm tunnels work and also the Pioneer and Soldier Cemetery. The Senate has, at this time, $138 million in cash for projects, but they're all transportation projects, including Winter Street maintenance projects and other projects that are throughout the state. Some of them are paying back. They're not really all capital projects. Some of them are paying back counties for roads that they are now accepting from the state and under construction. So they're both a little different. There's discussion that there will be more money added to that Senate cash bill, and that cash bill has been moved from finance to the bonding bill, to the bonding committee. So we will soon, hopefully know soon where the bonding bill is. We've had lots of meetings with legislators, and Nicollet Mall is still in play. I'll stop there for any questions about the bonding bill.
Not seeing any questions.
Okay. Supplemental Budget Conference Committee has also been meeting, and this bill includes not only funding, but an awful lot of policy issues. And some of these policy issues do impact us. There's one proposal in the Senate bill to increase funding for the SCORE program, which is recycling, which would help us as we implement compostable materials and collection of organics. In the Senate bill, it's $750,000 out of the environmental fund, and it includes no policy language. The House has $7 million general fund. It would be added to the base, so the base would go from $14 to $21 million per year. That would have an increase to all counties and to our city. Also includes policy language that would have goals to be met and also allow to spend money on compostable materials. A separate bill has language that's now in conference committee that would allow would require commercial properties in the metropolitan area to implement a recycling program. And that conference committee is meeting now and should have hopefully have a completion within the next couple days. That's taken a circuitous route. It was the requirement that statewide there be commercial recycling was in the original bill by Representative Hornstein. It was taken out in the House on the House floor, but the metro area commercial recycling was reinserted in another bill in the House floor by Representative Hornstein to Representative Clark Johnson's bill. In the Senate, it was hoped that the bill would be agreed to by the Senate. However, the Senate wanted to go to a conference committee to discuss this issue. So that's a major policy issue. Other policy issues in that bill include the pollinator language, the funding for the loss of bees. That's in both bodies, both sides, so that looks pretty good. And then the labeling bill for pollinators passed the House floor separately on Monday, 118 to 10. Supplemental budget bill should be, again, once they get a target, they could probably move pretty quickly. So I'll stop and answer any questions there. Okay, taxes. The tax conference committee met yesterday and for the first time really went into depth of their bill. They spent yesterday talking about the House of Representatives proposal for property taxes. It includes local government aid, an increase now of about $9 million because the inflationary factor was recalculated. It's actually lower. So instead of having about a $12 million increase in LGA under the inflator, it'd be for this year about $9 million. For the city of Minneapolis, that would mean instead of 1.6, 1.7, around 1.2, 1.3. The Senate wasn't very receptive at this time of the inflator. They're concerned about putting spending on autopilot and would prefer that when there is a need, they would add to the base or could add to the base and then maybe take away later. They're concerned that there could be a recession, and if we have this so-called autopilot, there would be in 10 years, almost a $400 million increase, and LGA would be worth over $1 billion. So they raised those conservative concerns and very cautious concerns. Also in the bill was an increase for farm homestead credit, and also renter's credit. Again, met with some skepticism. I'm not sure that was necessary, but the House made a pretty good case on that. The House also made a case presented their $150,000 exclusion, where for commercial industrial property, the first $150,000 of market value would be excluded from the state-levied property tax. The Senate really did not like that one. Senator Rest had lots of good arguments, concerned that she said, in my district, probably wouldn't help anyone because most of my small businesses are rent in a strip mall or in an office building, and it would be part of the rents, and they would not see any of these increases because when you aggregate everything, it's over $1 million in terms of market value. And it was stated that the $1 million, $1.1 million, any property under $1.1 million would not have an increase, anything over would. And she argued that almost all of her properties were in buildings that were fairly expensive. That discussion continued for a long time. They also talked about other issues in the property tax. One of the things that will come up this afternoon is in the Senate. The Senate is proposing that for special service districts and those that have been established by general law, could charge properties that are not commercial industrial, so-called mixed-use buildings. They could could be contributors to the service fee. The question we need to discover, number one, is what is the effective date? Is it for new districts or is it for existing districts? Number two, there is a difference we understand between condo buildings because each individual unit is owned by hopefully the occupant, and then in renter buildings, it's who is going to be able to object and participate in the process. Is it the owners of the buildings, or is it the owners of the condos, or is it the renters? And that's a big issue that we're going to be discussing this afternoon and next couple of days. And Ms. Bergman has been really following this one fairly carefully. And our city attorney has been very helpful in this one too. So far, they're concerned that right now statute says it's the owners of the building. And the owners of the building and the renters would be the landlord, and in condo buildings, it would be all the individual condo owners. So we're trying to work that out.
All right. So, and I might just jump in here. I kind of had understood that this owner issue might almost be like a poison pill to how this moves forward, and I might be overstating it. The other thing is, I do think this is exactly where kind of the market anyway is moving on how the special service district needs to be able to accommodate residential within the district and mixed use because of the prevalence of mixed use buildings and other things, but it is kind of a concern to understand how it might be applied because, you know, a lot of work goes into building support for the existing districts, and you'd want to be able to go through that process to, again, build the support with the proper additions of the residential property owners or renters or however that's decided, so.
So we'll keep you posted, Madam Chair, on this one on committee. This probably will be decided within the next week. But there is no companion language in the House. Other issues, medical marijuana. There was another hearing this week, 2 hearings this week. The bill is now in the Finance Committee of the Senate, and I think it should be heard in the House sometime later this week. Senator Dibble has the bill now in Finance. It came out of Judiciary last night. And for the first time, Public Safety did speak, and they raised some of their concerns about the bill. And the bill is now one step away from going to the Senate floor. Automatic license plate readers, there will be a conference committee next week on that issue. There have been some discussions in between the passage and next week. It appears that many people in the public safety community have come forward and are suggesting that there be really tough restrictions on who can access that data. As you're aware, the big issue was how long could you keep the data from license plate readers. In addition to that, it's also who can have access. So there are some, Senator Champion had in his bill requirements for procedures to access the data, logs to be kept, policies to be drafted, training. The draft I saw a couple days ago is even stricter than that. It's really trying to prevent data breaches. And it seems to be resonating with some of the House conferees who are working with us on that bill. And I'll stop and answer any questions on those. Last item is the Women's Economic Security Bill. It's in conference committee. First conference committee, I think, met yesterday, and I think that bill should be wrapped up within about the next week or 2. Madam Chair, that rather quickly covers what's happening at the state.
Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate your report and really appreciate the work of your entire team. Again, it's been an unusual session, and we're kind of closing in on the final days, and I guess kind of just to reiterate, our biggest priority here is our bonding, and of those bonding requests, our #1 priority is the Nicollet Mall, and so we continue to be very focused on this priority and how we might achieve it, and thank you and the entire team, and as well as, again, a lot of stakeholders who have been providing support, particularly the downtown business community. So thank you. And with that, I believe we will receive and file this report. So I'll move receive and file. On approval, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that item is received and filed. With that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.